Hi, I'm Emma B. Perez, life design and career coach for teens and young adults. This Empower Your Teen YouTube channel is all about supporting parents. To learn how I work with young people, you'll find links in the description. To continue to get support as a parent, just stick around by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. All right, let's get to today's topic.
Everyone, please join me in welcoming Dr. Charlotte Reznick. She is a child and adolescent psychotherapist, and she was named Imagery International's Person of the Year in 2013 for the global impact of her work with children. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Reznick.
Oh, I'm so happy to be with you. It's wonderful that you're organizing this amazing spotlight series.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I like to start by asking you if you wouldn't mind sharing your story. How is it that you came to not only be a psychotherapist, but start helping kids with meditation, therapeutic meditations, and things like that?
Great question. I think it was meant to happen. I just since I was a kid, I was always into leaving the world with my imagination. And in school, at college, I studied psychology and art. And I just kind of moved into a position where I found myself being a psychologist in the inner city, in inner city schools. So I was a psychologist for maybe 1,200 children, and they were in dire straits, and they all needed immense help. And the kids I was working with at the time, they didn't fit into the regular, like, we'll do some nice counseling and talk about ideas and how to help you. It would be a joke to them. So I knew I had to find something to touch their hearts and to move their souls. And I had been studying with a wonderful woman at UCLA who did different types of imagery. And also I had started my own meditation practice. And I thought, maybe I could kind of combine this. And this was a time where we didn't use meditation as in the schools, or it wasn't a popular expression. Now in our world, mindfulness is so popular and it's ignited all over the world, and I'm certainly grateful for that. But at that time, it wasn't.
You started a trend, right?
And so we would call it relaxation and guided imagery, because the idea is that when you're more relaxed, you could learn more easily. And there's so much research now on the benefits of guided imagery, of mindfulness, of meditation, and how it helps one with pretty much everything. I mean, all across the spectrum in asthma, less medication, and learning better. I was in a school research. I was looking at one school. It was called Paradise Unified School District, which is interesting because recently, not too long ago, there were fires in Paradise. And in that district, they worked with kids and they led them through basically guided imagery or guided meditation. Pretty much the same thing, let me tell you. It just depends on the audience what words I'll use. It's the same thing. It's relaxing and leading through a guided journey that takes you to a safe place. And for me, that's what you can do in the work. So I started doing this in 1,200 very poor children that needed help desperately. And I just did some work with the teachers, and whoever wanted me to come in their classes, I would start going in their classes and teaching the children. And I was going into about 30 classes a week, maybe 600 children a week. Yeah, it was that's where this work started. Wow. And then it's pretty intense, pretty amazing, pretty wonderful things happen to the children and with the kids and with the school and with the teachers. And then when I went just into private practice, the children I worked with were very different. They were middle-class children, upper middle-class children. And the tools that I was developing with these very poor kids worked just as well. It's because it's universal. The idea of going inside and developing your intuition, connecting to your own wisdom, and finding answers to help yourself in everyday life problems that everyone faces, and some really difficult ones too.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, where else are we getting something like that? I mean, so many of us don't know how to really connect with what we truly want. So, this program is all about how to motivate your teen to think about their future. That's the big question when we have teens, is getting them ready for life after high school. So, what insights do you have for us about what motivates teens?
Oh, I love that, because what I found over the years working with thousands or whatever in practice and speaking is what motivates teens is whatever motivates them. Everyone is different, but it has to be, it's about them. It's about what they want. It's about what they would like in their life. So I'll have parents come to me and their teens are driving them crazy. Well,
No.
you have to think of teenhood is a time of separation. You know, from the time the umbilical cord is cut, we start letting them go. So when they're 18 or 22, or they often come back 26, you know, they could be a full functioning human being. So there is, you want to let them go. But what happens in teenhood, in fact, I see it start earlier, like in the tweenhood, where the kids, it's push pull. It's like love hate, and I see often, especially when they're close to their parents, they pull away even more because it's they were so close. They have to like really pull away. So I always recommend, just in general, over time, from little kids up, just let them go. Give them more responsibility. Give them more freedom, attached to responsibility, of course. But so then it doesn't have to be as traumatic when they're teenagers. So I know you mentioned you're very concerned, and I am too, about how to motivate the teens and to think about their future and to create their future. So I start with what they want. How are things doing in their life? Oh, they're good, they're fine, or whatever. But how would they like things to be? Can they imagine maybe how they like it to be right now? Maybe they can't think into the future several years. But like right now, is there anything you really love about your life? Mostly not, but there might be some things I really love. Is there anything you'd like more of? So I really like to approach these initial questions in a positive way. So rather than a list of complaints, like, what do you like about your life? What would you like more of? And then could they imagine it? What's their life going to be like when they have more friends, when getting up in the morning is easier, when they get enough sleep, when their younger brother isn't bothering them, when their parents aren't nagging so much? Just, depending on your teen, you kind of know what questions to ask. And so if you get some yes answers, or if they can imagine what it's like, great. If they can't imagine, as a parent, you could just throw it out. I wonder if, going to school will be easier if you wake up rested. I wonder if you'll be happier if, you're not so nervous about tests. Like I always tell kids to overstudy. It's really a joke. I mean, it's very funny because kids will come in really disappointed in a grade on a test. And I ask them, if they prepare, and they go, yeah. I go, okay, the secret I've been told from other kids is not just to study like you're doing a good job, but to overstudy. And overstudying to us is like regular studying. Please tell kids that I don't have your answers. I'm here to help you find your answers.
I love it.
And when parents come in with their agenda, it might not be their teen's agenda, which is fine. So I have to go in the side door rather than the front door, rather than confront something more directly. For example, maybe the parents, let's just talk about something simple like the kids aren't studying, they're not doing well in school. That's not so important to them, but their sports is really important to them. Soccer, soccer's really big right now. In fact, one of the girls I work with, she's over in Paris. Not that we're dating ourselves, but she went to Paris to see the American team play. But so if sports is important, if soccer is important, or volleyball or basketball or whatever they care about, or swimming, then I go, great. Would you like to be even better at, in soccer? Let's do soccer. And they go, yeah, sure. And I go, well, every Olympics team coach teaches how to use your imagination, how to use visualization. I talk about Michael Phelps, who won like all these millions of gold medals. He uses his imagination and visualization to imagine himself swimming. He watches himself swim, and he's also in the pool. So he does it from both angles. He imagines everything that could go wrong, and then he fixes it so that if it happens in real life, he's prepared and he does it quickly. So you could transfer that skill to pretty much anything. You could transfer it to studying. You could transfer it to getting along well with your siblings or your parents. And that, I try to go into what's important to them. The idea that they're in control, because who doesn't like to be in control? And teens certainly want to be in control, so the parents, but so I'm there to help them connect to that wisdom, because I believe they have their answers. And I'm just there to help them open a few doors so that they could get in touch with it.
Okay, so what about the parents who say, but I know my kid better than anybody, and I'm giving them all of these suggestions and these ideas, and they're just not coming along with me on this.
Yes, they're not coming along because they really don't want to hear your suggestions unsolicited. Nobody wants unsolicited advice. So yes, you know your child. Of course you know your child. You know, you've been living with them for whatever amount of years. However, you might want to try a gentler approach, like get their feet, ask them what works for them in a situation. Say all your suggestions are about getting a summer job, for example, or getting a part-time job, or getting an internship for the following year that will help them get in college or look good on a college application. And you have all these great ideas and you have lots of experience. They're not really that interested. However, if you ask them what their thoughts are, what they think might work for them in terms of looking for a job or an internship, and if they say, I don't know, you know, or they give us few ideas, but very, very basic, then you could ask them, hey, would you like some feedback from me? Would you like to brainstorm together? So if you say brainstorm together, then they're still involved. And if you say, would you like feedback? You're not saying, I'm going to tell you what to do. It's always great to tell stories about your experience, or like you spoke to the mother or father of another teen and this worked for them. I don't know if it'll work for you, but it worked for this, you know, this other friends, you know, whatever. If you have those stories.
That's a great idea.
Oh, you kind of you were interested in the tools that I use with kids.
Yes, that was my next question. Yep. Yes, so please. Okay, so you have tools for igniting their imagination and their intuition. So please tell us about those.
Okay, so what's really important is to have some kind of structure that the kids could connect with their wisdom.
Okay.
Because if you ask them, you know, how could you do better on that test? They might say, I don't know, or, you know, how could you know, why are you getting along so poorly with your sister? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Those kind of, it's a reasonable question, but you're not going to likely get the answer you want. So if it comes from them, and this is where my kind of, I have these 9 tools that I've kind of learned and developed over time, because I learned from the kids what works and what doesn't work. And I tell the kids, as I've mentioned, I know you have your answers. We just have to find a way to get to them. You have that knowledge. You have that wisdom. And parents could say that too. I know you, like you were saying earlier, I know you so well. You have a big heart. You're so wise. We're just going to, so you might ask them, if this goes back to what's it going to be like when school is easy, when you get along well, and you're getting these yeses. And then you could ask, I often do this, would you be willing to learn some new tools to help you get there, to help you reach your goal? So again, you're hearing me say, reach your goal, not my goal as your parent. So you have to get a little bit of a buy-in from them, and that seems to work really well. And so for me, there are foundation tools that helps you, it's where you spring from. And that is, it's kind of deep breathing. It's a meditation breath. It's breathing about 2 inches below your belly button. That's the center of your body. In Eastern thought, it's the dantian. And when you breathe there, about that low, you are centering your body. When you center your body, slowly, say you breathe into a count of 3 and breathe out to a count of 3. And if their nose isn't stuffed or they don't have a lot of allergies, I have them breathe in through their nose and out through their nose. Some kids like to breathe in through their nose and out through their mouth. That's fine. And the idea is that calms everything. It lowers your blood pressure. It kind of gets everything in alignment, and it calms you so you get to your center. And then you could go inside and ask some questions. Now, I often have kids find like a special place that they feel safe in. So they create their own internal special place where they feel good and happy. And it might be indoors or outdoors or a meadow or their bedroom or wherever. It doesn't matter. But to imagine being in a special place where they feel safe and loved and calm and happy. And they could put anything they want, any crazy music, any weird food, whatever. They could have people or no people, animal or no animals, but if they have any people, as soon as they say walk through the door up into their special place, that person accepts and loves them just the way they are. So that way you could come in if you just had a fight with them or their brother or sister or so you kind of set it up so it's a safe place. And that's where they could do their inner work. So when they're in that relaxed state, then they could ask for their wisdom. Now, what's their wisdom? It could be themselves, older and wiser, having already gotten through the situation. That's a very popular one. It could be a person that they know or someone that's passed on. One teen just told me his grandpa, who's no longer living, talked to him. It could be an animal like their own pet or an animal, a spirit animal, like a dolphin or a lion or whatever. It doesn't matter. So it's really allowing you to bypass your conscious defense system and connect with your intuitive, creative part of your brain. Because you're not asking yourself what to do, you're asking the older, wiser person or J.K. Rowling. But it's really you. It's just like tricking your mind in a wonderful way to access that part. We all have different parts. We have right? We have a wise part, we have an inner healer, we have an angry part, we have a sad part. So just connect with the wise one. It could be your little, if it's a mom or a dad, it could be their inner child, or their inner teen. Like to connect with how their teen feels, they could go back to how they felt as a child or a teen.
Wow, that's amazing. And what a difference that will make when, if someone comes to you and goes, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? All you're going to do is go in defense mode, right?
Right.
So
right.
If you get into this other space, you're no longer in defense mode.
Yes. And you could ask the older, wiser you, or whoever you're connecting with, animals that come to you at different times, for help. And they give you a gift. And the gift could be a real gift, something you imagine, a real gift. It could be something they show you or something they tell you. Like his gift was happiness, and his dad gave him happiness.
Wow.
And it didn't have a shape or a form. It was just the feeling of happiness.
Wow.
And then you could anchor it in. You could take, say, your thumb and your first finger and press it together while you're in a special place and connecting to that happiness.
Wow.
And it stays with you even more. So
That's
you
powerful.
can ask for help, how to get through the SATs or the ACTs. There are 2 different tests kids take, or how to do the college application, or how to do the high school application, or how to do the science project, or what's my next step? I don't know what to do. My parents are driving me crazy. How can I get along with them better?
That's amazing.
Now that's just half of it. Once you connect there's so much wisdom in your body. So I'll ask the kids to maybe What's their heart tell them? And have them put their hand over their heart center, in the center of their body at heart level. What's their gut tell them? Because it seems like we have a brain in our mind, we have a brain in our heart, and we have a brain in our belly. And for example, people that get heart transplants, not everyone, but enough that the researchers pay attention, often like either something that the donor, the heart, the person, like to eat or to do. Like all of a sudden they like pistachio ice cream, or all of a sudden they want to play golf.
You're
It's
kidding.
because there's like another brain in the heart.
Wow.
I know. So we want to pay attention to that. And our gut, everyone says, listen to your gut feelings. That's because there are T cells in the gut that's similar to some cells in the brain.
Wow.
So that way, and you can have a conversation between the two of them. So that way the kids are asking themselves, what's your heart tell you? So again, you're not putting them on the defensive. And maybe their heart doesn't say anything. And then I always say, well, if we haven't spoken to it for a while, it's a little shy. Give it time. And I'll have them check in the morning before they go to bed. What does your heart want you to know? And then the whole body has wisdom. Where do they keep their feelings? Where's their anger? Where's their worry? Where's their frustration? And you could do this, if you have a teen now, but you have younger kids, you could use the same tools, but just change the language up. Wow. So if your kid is angry, where is that red anger in his belly? So then we can work with it on a scale of 0 to 10. How much anger is there? 10. And then, okay, so let's use two anecdotes so that we can help work with that anger. 2 anecdotes, meaning 2 opposite feelings. Maybe it's calmness, maybe it's love. So I always like working 2 against 1. So then I have them, okay, I just have them do their deep breathing, relax, go to the special place, focus on the anger. It's 10, it's red, it's in their belly. Where's their calm feelings? What color is calm? Blue in the shoulders. What color is love? Where's love? It's in the heart and it's white. Thinking of a teen boy I work with. So then I have them, just with their intention and with their breath, breathe in the calm blue into the red anger in their belly. And then breathe the calm blue throughout their whole body and fill their body up with calmness. And kind of notice what happens. And then I have them breathe in the white love into the anger. And then their whole body fill it up with love and notice what happens. And one boy said the calmness covered up the anger, but the love dissipated it. It kind of exploded and the anger was gone. It's very, very helpful, very positive for anger, for scare, for fear, for worry, all of those, anything, it doesn't matter. And then the child, your teen, sees that he has some power in shifting things.
What an amazing way to empower your teen, to give them tools to take control of their own mind and their own body.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And make it fun, make it light,
Oh my goodness, this is going to be so helpful to parents out there for getting to that conversation and getting through this conversation with their teens, and it's going to be so helpful to the teens as well. So thank you for this insight. Yes.